Hi, and welcome to this installment of Tom's Take. Thanks for joining me. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial in LaSalle. She's on First Street. She and her team are there to help. Please stop in and say hello. This week, I want to play for you the first in a series of segments of an interview that I did with Peru Police Chief Sarah Raymond, who stepped into the role of police chief, was promoted toward the end of 2022, and has now been through her first 3-4 months on the job. I talked to her a few weeks ago, just a little over a month ago, I guess, and asked her how things were going. I sat down in her office. She gave me a lot of time. We talked about a lot of things. Here's the first segment of it. I think we'll probably have 2 or 3 that I'm going to stretch out over time. Here's Chief Sarah Raymond of Peru.
There's been a lot going on. There's been a lot of different things that were in the works before I got into this position that I'm trying to catch up with and continue on. We're trying to get up into the digital age, and so we've done a few different things with different software programs and that type of things.
What's that going to do for the department?
It's going to create a lot better platform for evidence and evidence sharing. Right now we burn DVDs for evidence, surveillance videos, pictures, everything goes onto a DVD, gets sent to the state's attorney. We just got a program called iCrime Fighter, which is going to do all that for us. We can, if we have a retail theft at Walmart, we can send them a link. They upload the video on that link. It goes right into the case file that we need.
So it's a web-based tool that's immediate.
Yes.
You don't have to get a disc over to the state's attorney's office.
People that have Ring videos, I can send them a link. They can send it right to us. We can send it right to the state's attorney's office. Saves tons of time. Burning DVDs takes forever.
And I imagine there's an associated expense too, but you're probably paying something for the web.
I'm freeing up my evidence custodians by about 6 hours per weekend. So that's how many DVDs we're making. So
that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
How many officers do you have now?
We have 24 sworn personnel.
Do you have openings for others down the road, or is it how are things going?
I think we'll see about that. There's some different things I'd like to look into as far as, we were previously part of Trident's Drug Task Force years ago. We kind of branched off and created our own within the city of Peru, kind of just service the city of Peru. We don't have that anymore. Personnel issues as far as staffing. Peru is a busy place. The daytime population in Peru is quite large. So our calls for service are pretty high. They're running a lot. And currently they're only required to have, per their contract, 3 people working at all times. So you can imagine somebody takes off, then there's 3 people working, running call to call. So staffing wise, I think we're sitting pretty good now. I've been able to, for now, eliminate the deputy chief position, created a patrol lieutenant's position. So I have that in place, did that testing process. So we'll have my patrol lieutenant will be in place at the beginning of March, which will take a lot off of my plate, which will be very helpful. You'll
be able to delegate more to
Yes.
that while you focus on bigger picture things?
Correct. I've always been in charge of the patrol division since I was a commander. Yeah. And that's still not changed, to this point, because,
now that you're the chief, you've got to give somebody else a chance to develop those skills.
Exactly. Create succession in that and allow those people opportunity to move up to the position that I'm in.
So it sounds like structurally everything's good.
Yep.
What about do you sense a mandate now that you've been in the office for a while?
As far as
from the public, what things do you want to get done in the next 9 months to make it your first year? What do you want to do over the next year? Whatever.
There's a couple different things I definitely want to do. Officer wellness is huge right now. It's part of that bill that came out, that House bill that came out, and all the trailer bills include officer wellness. There's a mandate that officers need to go talk to somebody and they need to do things. So I'm actually currently collaborating with the Aruca Institute of Healing, the Chief of Police in Ottawa, Brent Rolson, and the Chief of Police in Princeton at this point right now, to kind of create a program that includes all of that for officer wellness, allows them an opportunity on a confidential basis to talk to somebody, have somebody ride around with them. We call it windshield therapy. Have a counselor just ride with them eventually, hopefully they'll talk if they need to.
Have you ever done that before here?
Yeah, we have somebody from Aruka comes once. It used to be once every week. They're doing some different things now, different programs.
But is that voluntary?
Yep.
Do people volunteer?
Yeah.
Really?
People will say, "Hey, come ride with me," or
they understand the value of it.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. It's big, and it's funny because there's a divide with the older officers and the younger officers. And the younger officers, they get it. They're like, "Yeah, officer wellness, that's key." And my older officers are like, "Yeah, I'll just keep to myself over here," But
the old way of doing things.
Yeah, there's value in it, and they're starting to see that, and so.
Rod does a lot of talking about that, actually, about how generationally there are different perspectives on things.
Oh, it is so different, and it's harder for some of the older officers to buy into that. There's a gap that definitely needs a bridge from my younger ones to my older ones, and I'm an older one now. I'm just an older one now, and so you see how they are. They ask so many questions, and they like to ask why, and they when I started, it was okay. You just did what they told you to do, and you didn't question
it. You salute and you do it.
Yeah, and so now the older ones are like, well, what do you mean why? Well, they want to know what that answer is. They want to know. So
it's got to be happening everywhere. It can't just be happening here.
No, it is.
But I imagine you're the bridge then. Do you see yourself as a generational bridge then?
Yeah.
Because you have to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and I have my older ones will come talk to me about it, and they'll say, listen, this is what the culture is now. You have to embrace it. You got to take it in, or you're going to drive yourself nuts trying to figure out these young kids, So they've done a nice job, and they're starting to kind of come around to it, and it's just different. It's just a different culture now, and it's not a bad thing. I think it's great.
Not at all. It's just a different perspective.
Yep.
I think, and
it's fresh.
I don't know how it could hurt. As a matter of fact, even the lowest bar is what can it hurt?
Yeah.
It would seem to be something that's well above that.
Exactly. It's nice. So and being able to work with everybody, different departments and that, and that's nice too. Having people on the same page with you.
Let's talk collaboration for a second. How's your relationship with the other chiefs in the area?
Seems to be great. I had a great relationship with them prior to even being the chief. I did a lot of different things with a lot of the different chiefs. So I've been around Mike Smajinsky for years. Since I started. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been there. So he and I have a nice relationship, right next door. So that's good. I've met and collaborated a little bit with Brent Rolson in Ottawa. He was actually one of the people on my panel to interview for my patrol lieutenant's position. Tom Kamerer in Princeton, he and I have a good relationship. We all kind of have the same ideas, same values and belief system as far as what we want our police departments to become, how we want them to be run, and I think that's very important.
I know you can't speak for your peers in the other departments, but in general, have you heard people talk about the generational differences among officers?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's just something that is now, and
how are they handling it?
In the same ways. They have the same kind of ideas, and they're trying to bridge those gaps too, and they understand it and they can see it. So I think everybody's kind of we talk about it, and everybody's on the same page and how to handle that. They are who they are, and they bring a whole nother realm to this policing job, and I think it's a great thing.
So you became an officer when?
June 20th, 2004.
Look at you. Okay. So
everybody knows their start date.
So 19 years,
Right.
Almost 20 years.
Yep.
Looking back on it, what do you think?
Boy, it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot, which isn't a bad thing. I've done a lot of different things in my 19 years. I've been a supervisor in this job for 14 of those 19 years. I was promoted as a sergeant with 5 years on. So I've always kind of been in that leadership role, which I enjoy,
I know I've shown up at incidents, and this is before you were promoted to chief, and you were pretty much in control.
Well, thank you.
Well, no, because that's what you had to be.
I
think we all in the media just assumed you were going to be chief at some point. So sooner than later was what we thought too.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Because you just seem to have it all together and a good perspective on things.
Well, I try to. I feel like I have a good perspective on things, and I want to bring new things, and I want people. I'm really big on transparency. I think that's really important. I don't think there should be a lot of closed doors unless it's absolutely necessary. I like everybody to know what's going on unless it's absolutely necessary that they don't. I've been in those dark shadows before of, oh, what's that, you know, and I just feel like being transparent is a big key to your people, you know, trusting you, having that respect for you, you know, and that type of thing. So that's a big thing for me. But yeah, it's been 19 years, not as long as some, but long enough.
Steady progression, though.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
You got to be proud of what you've achieved so far.
I am. I've done some things that have been really, had the opportunity to do some really cool things. And so, yeah, I like that a lot.
Well, that's it for this week, and I'll be running more installments of that interview as time goes on. You know, while I'm thinking about it, if you know of anyone who deserves recognition like this on a Sunday in video, someone special in the area, someone who's done something that you think the rest of the area should know about, you can email me at tom@starvedrock.media. That's tom@starvedrock.media, or you can call the business line of the station, 815-223-3100. Thanks again for joining me on this installment of Tom's Take. I'll see you in the morning.